All right, thanks for staying with us, everyone. You're watching What Now? We turn attention to South Africa, where President Cyril Ramaphosa is facing renewed political pressure over the so-called Farmgate scandal after the country's constitutional court revived impeachment proceedings linked to cash stolen from his private ranch. The controversy centers on a 2020 theft at Ramaphosa's game farm, where thieves allegedly stole hundreds of thousands of dollars in foreign cash hidden inside furniture. Ramaphosa has denied any wrongdoing and says the money came from legitimate livestock sales. An independent panel previously found preliminary evidence that the president may have violated his oath of office, raising questions about how the cash was stored and whether it was properly declared. Parliament initially voted against launching impeachment proceedings in 2022, but South Africa's Constitutional Court has now revived the process. Lawmakers are expected to form a special impeachment committee to investigate further. Ramaphosa's African National Congress, that's the ANC, still holds enough seats in Parliament to potentially protect him from removal. But analysts say divisions within the ruling party could become a major factor if the case moves forward. We're joined now by a professor of political science and international relations, Beki Mgomezulu. He joins us from South Africa. Good to have you join us, Prof.
Good afternoon, my sister. Thank you very much for having me, and good afternoon to your viewers.
So I just want to get your thoughts on what you make of this latest impeachment moves against President Ramaphosa and his decision to review the Section 89 reports and then take it to the High Court.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Look at it from two ends. On the one hand, you might say that the president is exercising his constitutional rights that if you feel aggrieved about something, then you can take a report on review, which is not necessarily wrong. So from a legal perspective, I would say the president is absolutely right. But from a moral point of view, he has lost it. In my view, the president should have just resigned, more especially because when he ascended to the office on the 15th of February 2018, he told the world that he was going to address the so-called 9 wasted years. And then he also said he was coming with a new dawn. And most importantly, he said he was going to fight corruption with all the powers that he has. Now, suddenly, he is now found to have done something wrong. Because honestly speaking, the money that was in his farm, the question is not how he got the money. The question is, was he supposed to keep such money in his farm? The answer is an emphatic no. Was the money declared? The answer is an emphatic no. Was the money recovered using constitutional means? The answer is no. So then definitely there are so many no's than there are yeses. In that case, then I don't think if I were in his shoes, I would have taken the report and the review. Instead, I would have just resigned to keep my integrity and then, of course, to give the country and the world confidence that I meant what I said when I ascended the office.
The amount in question is over $500,000, which is a lot. The Pala Farmgate scandal has been on for years, more than 5 years now. He has managed to survive the first phase. I was listening to the spokesperson of the DA who was talking about issues around not just resigning, but really getting to the bottom of the matter. How important is it now to answer the question of whether President Ramaphosa is guilty or not? And what form should accountability take?
Currently, there are two possibilities, but there is a third possibility which we can ventilate at a later stage. The two possibilities, one is the one that the president is taking, whereby he says that he's taking the report of the 3-member panel, which was constituted in terms of Section 89 of the Constitution, which was led by a former Chief Justice, not just a newcomer in law, but a former Chief Justice, that is Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo. So he's taking that under review. Then it means that the court will then have to look into the matter and then decide whether indeed the president has a leg to stand on. That is one avenue. But then the other avenue is for Parliament to activate the impeachment process by appointing the Speaker, appointing the impeachment committee, and then taking that report, the Section 89 report, to that particular committee, after which the committee will then submit its report to Parliament. Then normal voting will take place, where we then need a two-thirds majority. Then the third option, which is not being considered, at least for now, is the legal one, whereby you keep so much money against the laws of the country. Because the laws are clear, you cannot keep so much money in your house, it must be in the bank. And then, of course, the fact that it's foreign currency, then there's another issue, because it means that the money is supposed to have been declared. How you then recouped the money from those who allegedly stole it is another issue. Did you follow the normal channels, or did you take the law into your own hands? If there is anything untoward that happened in that case, then it means then you have another case to answer to. So those are the three possibilities, but now the focus is on the two: the review, taking the report on review, and then, of course, the impeachment process. That is where the focal point is currently.
And in terms of focal point, South Africa has been a focal point for some weeks or even months rather now. You saw how the G20 meeting went. President Trump refused to attend because of the issues around the Land Act. In South Africa, recently there are issues around xenophobic attacks, which is causing tensions in the country, and now issues around the impeachment process. What does this mean for democratic stability in South Africa? And secondly, do you think that the GNU will be willing to push further with this?
Let me answer questions in reverse form, my sister. Let's start with this so-called GNU. I'm on record saying that currently we don't have a GNU in South Africa. We have a multi-party coalition. And some of the politicians have in fact disagreed with me. But I tell them that we are confusing our students, because this is not a GNU. A GNU is a government of national unity. In that case, even if you won the election, you will still form the government of national unity, like it happened in 1994. This one is a multi-party coalition, which was necessitated by the results of the 2024 general election, where there was no outright winner. Now we have a problem with this multi-party coalition. The Democratic Alliance, which was the official opposition until the sixth administration, was vocal in terms of challenging the president on this matter and many other issues. But now that they are part of the coalition government, there is a deafening silence. Until now, where we had the newly elected leader, that is Hill Lewis, saying that they are not going to support the president should the impeachment process go ahead. So that is refreshing, because all along, since the DA joined this multi-party coalition, they've been silent on all the issues they were raising when they were campaigning for the 2024 general election. So that is one issue. Then in terms of a democratic consolidation, I would say that looking at how things have unfolded, democracy is in fact strengthening in South Africa. The very fact that you started with Mandela presenting himself to a court of law, even when his members or the members of his party were saying that he can't do it because he was the president of the party and the country. He said, I must lead by example. And then right now, we have the current president who is now supposed to answer questions, although the ANC is protecting him, but I don't think it will be for too long.
All right. We'll see how this plays out, especially for the ANC, beginning with Jacob Zuma and the corruption allegations, and now to President Ramaphosa, also with corruption allegations. What that means for the party remains to be seen. Thank you so much for your time, Professor of Political Science and International Relations, South Africa, Becky Mgome Zulu.
Thank you.